And hello, I was about to say good evening, good early morning to everybody. It is almost 2, it's 1:45 in the morning, and we have thunderstorms on the move, but things are still looking pretty good out there. We've been watching things that have sped up dramatically. We were looking at a 7 a.m. start originally for all of this, and then everything really started to speed up. Let me see if I can go over to, I'll tell you what, if somebody else in there, Taylor, if you can hear me, if somebody could share this over, no, I guess you can't, because it has to be on my page. I'm trying to share that over quickly here for a second and move it over to the Facebook thing. If you're on YouTube watching, welcome. That's one of the new things that we started adding tonight, in addition to streaming on the app and on the website. So, man, we're trying to hit every platform that we can. All right, let me switch this. Just take a look at that pretty radar right there, and pretty it is because there are no warnings on it, and that was not expected for tonight. Of course, we're looking at high risk out in Alabama, and then for us, just short of that, a level 4 out of 5, and things have started trending a lot better for us. All right, share, Sunny and share. That's not what I'm looking for. All right, let's go there and there. Okay. So now I should be able to look at comments and see what you guys are saying. I'm just going to give you a little overview first before we take any of the questions here. Couple things. First of all, things, if you're just joining us and you're not in the group that was a little earlier, although I think it's probably mostly the same folks, we were expecting around a 7 a.m. start with everything coming in where it is now. 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning is what we were supposed to be seeing, when we're supposed to be seeing this. So we're way ahead of schedule, about 5 hours off. And a couple of problems. Things sped up. Things have outrun the main system. There's the question of, is this it? Is this the front edge? Is this the only edge? Is this all we're going to see out of this other than some rain behind it? Is this as bad as it gets? That would be wonderful if that's the case. Still hoping that's the case. As we zoom back and come over here into Alabama, you can see stuff developing back south and west of Montgomery. So part of the problem is trying to figure out if this redevelopment that we are seeing, I don't think this is going to be it. I think we're seeing all this redevelopment down here. Is it going to line up in such a way that it'll cause a problem for us as we go through the morning hours? And it's all this little stuff down here that's been developing as it moves across as we go through the coming hours. Then there's this way back south and west of Montgomery. How does that play out as we go through? The models have not been a whole lot of help tonight. They're not initializing correctly, which means they're not picking up where we are at this moment in time to even start there. And so they're off by a pretty good margin. But we can take a look at the, let's go to the high-res model, which this is still not updated. But it gives you the idea. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain, they said in The Wizard of Oz. In this case, pay no attention to the time right here. This is not, forget that. Look at the general idea. The thinking is, then again, it may be close to that. If some of this vanishes out front, then this may be close to that. There's still a lot of unknown on this. This could still, if this back edge is still what's developing, it still could play out that it takes us through the next 4 or 5 hours to start moving on through. And then we get into the sunrise and morning time, and then moving on off as we head toward mid-morning into lunchtime, and then clearing it out, and that's it. Things have changed a lot in the past 4 or 5 hours, 6 hours, and a lot of the thinking has been kind of chunked out the window. Here's a look at the RPM model, and this is way off. I mean, this is where it initializes, and it has stuff way back here, and there's nothing even there. This is here, and parts of this are here. Let's go forward. It kind of shows things trying to fill back in a little bit, although broken. So if this is right, then we would still have that same kind of time frame where we're still looking at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning for the bulk, the new line to come in. So if that were the case, you're still looking at the same kind of timing. It's a little bit frustrating for me because the timing seems so off because this front edge is in. It really just comes down to kind of walking away from these models, I think, and just trying to figure out and look and see if that stuff behind there is actually building in like that. And I've been kind of dancing around with some of this, looking at some of the redevelopment, seeing if any of it, if you see anything rotating here or there, and not seeing anything. It may just be, which would be a great thing, it might be a bust. It might be one of these where it just doesn't play out the way originally thought, which I don't think anybody's going to complain about that. But if you're in Upson County right now, probably some gusty winds and some steady rain that has been kind of breaking apart. All of this is shattering apart actually here as it makes its way into our area. So for Thomaston down toward Butler, moving into the western part of Taylor County, rain, some gusty winds maybe with that, but no warnings, hardly even any lightning with that. Backing up a little bit, yes, we do have a tornado watch that you can see outlined right here, which is mainly Macon westward. It doesn't mean that we're going to see a ton of tornadoes in here. It's just kind of covering the bases in case something were to rotate. We still have an atmosphere out there that is not exactly great. And let's see, how long did that watch? Until 7 in the morning. Thank you, Courtney. Courtney is here. Apparently I did miss a lot in the chat room over here.
I was going to say, they're talking about how the model is butchered and are continuing to.
All right, folks, take a look at the screen here while I read on some of this here. Let's see. Huh, they mentioned the words bust too. All right, so it looks like just a couple of minutes ago, there was some mention in the National Weather Service chat room about trimming the watch back here starting in the next hour. So they have a shift change coming in now, so they're trying to let everybody kind of get up to speed. What is it? Let's see what this.
I was going to say the SPC outlook, they just put us in a slight instead of an enhanced.
All right, let me go there. Oh, the map's a little off.
Yeah, I would say the Milledgeville is definitely wonky.
Wow, so we have been, so a lot of big changes going on right here, folks, that we have now been dropped down to a 2. This is all great news, folks. This is wonderful, wonderful news. So the trend that we've been seeing continues. All the chat talk and everything is basically how the models just have not handled this correctly at all. And so I'm sure I know, because a lot of the comments and questions I've had on here, folks staying up late, worried, nervous about all this. It is going in the direction that you want it to go, where it is looking more and more like a bust. And we hope that continues. Huh. Isn't that amazing? Go from a 4 to a 2.
Someone said, really?
Yeah. Oh, man. This stuff is never not interesting, that's for sure. Just goes to show you, folks, it is an imperfect science. Anybody that ever tells you they have this whole thing figured out, they do not. I mean, we do have all that development that's going on back in Alabama, no warnings with that. Yeah, still, I mean, it's still only coming up on 2 in the morning. I mean, things can still change, so but as it stands now, things are definitely trending in the right direction. Sure would like an update on one of these. All right, so whoop, a little bit of lightning, some thunder, some steady rain going on from Thomaston down into Butler. So Upson and Taylor counties, we knew that would be the first stop, always is. And that'll continue moving pretty swiftly into Monroe County, Crawford, into Macon County in just a little bit, as what is, as of now, a broken line of about 3 lightning strikes and some steady rain and maybe a little bit of a breeze. I haven't been outside in a long time. Courtney says there's a lot of fog out there. I can't remember the last time I went outside. No, fog's not something I usually deal with. Not in my time frame. Oh, look at all. I chime in over to the comments and see a lot of heart emoji thingies. So yes, a lot of folks excited and happy on here. That's just good news so far. And again, I am definitely not one that hypes things up. I don't like to do that. If anything, sometimes I go the other way, not downplaying, but just trying to see the silver lining in it if possible. But it's not over still yet, folks. So let's just kind of watch for a little bit. Of course, I know if you're like, well, I'm going to bed. Well, then go ahead. As long as you have a way to be warned. If you have a way to get a warning or something like that, then take off. The reason I say it's not totally over, seeing a lot of lightning starting to develop south of Montgomery. I just wonder if that's...
Like if this is what they were hinting at ahead of the...
Is this the redevelopment back here is what I'm wondering. I know you're like, man, you're playing with my emotions. I know. I'm trying to give you good news, but also keep an eye on this too. I'm definitely not saying this is over. Don't take that as this is an all clear. I'm saying if you would like to go to bed, take off as long as you have a way to get warnings.
Yeah, the physical front itself does look to be, and I don't
God, I looked earlier. It looked like it was way back west.
Yeah, it's still out in Alabama for sure. That's all just out. This obviously is just what's going out ahead of it.
Yeah, I just wonder if it's going to regroup back along the front.
Right.
Although the front, is that it? Back west of Birmingham, stretching down?
Yes.
I've been seeing redevelopment there.
Yeah.
But it hasn't been holding together. I mean, it's just too washed out there.
Right. Well, our visibility map is picking up on fog, but it's definitely, it was out there when I was driving in here, so.
Courtney confirms fog. I haven't been outside since 6:30 yesterday afternoon. Oh.
Right now, like literally just about no surface-based instability.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't even looked at all that. I've been too busy just staring at the radar. And there I am doing weather up on TV. If you're watching that, pay no attention to that. That's clearly not me live. I'm not that talented. And that is also old. That was from the 11 o'clock show. Things have changed.
Oh, yeah, if you didn't know that loops.
Does it loop?
Yeah.
It starts over again?
On the weekend, it does the same thing, I think.
Man. See? Work here and just... well, yeah, we're usually not here watching to see what happens here. And if you're honest and you're watching right now on Facebook or YouTube or wherever right now, then you're probably usually not up to see it either. By the way, check out the YouTube thing. We're trying to kind of, populate that a little bit more. Facebook's a good spot too, but, YouTube has, you can do comments and all that and everything there. We're trying to do them all, but I just kind of want to see how that goes too. You can go to our YouTube channel. It's the same thing as this. I don't know why I'm doing that because then I'll have to start looking at comments on 2 different platforms trying to answer those. Marvin James checking in. Thank you, sir. Marvin never sleeps. I think he does. I just don't know when he does.
More of napping, periodic napping.
Yeah, Marv's like a cat. He naps. Montgomery to Monroeville. It sounds like a novel, but it's not. It's just where we're looking at things trying to redevelop a little bit here. It's not looking terribly impressive and all this down in here, but just looking to try to figure this thing out tonight. And looking at some pretty quick movement clearing the back edge of this stuff north of Montgomery. I know you're going, why? It's Alabama. We don't live there. I know, but that's what's coming this way, so we have to keep an eye on that. That's the only information we have to go off of. The models are no good. And I don't mean that to sound like, oh, we should never trust the models. Sometimes it's one of those things. Welcome into our trick every day, trying to figure out what to trust, which one to go with, which one to put your faith into, and when they're far apart, it's really frustrating. Kathy says, do we think it'll die down before Dublin? Oh, that's a long way off. I don't know if die down is the word. I mean, I think we're still going to have some rain and some gusty winds and some thunder and stuff like that. Maybe. But I don't know if we're going to, I just don't know. I mean, I know that sounds terrible, don't know. I mean, but so much of what we're seeing right now was not planned. If you really want to know the truth, if you were looking at how things were lined up for this event, with a high-end level 5 over here, top of the chart, and with us with a 4. And this is a good thing. The thought was, it's one of those days where you literally could have had some pretty sizable tornadoes that were long-track tornadoes that stayed on the ground for a while. One of those kind of days that kind of goes in the history books. And there were numerous tornado warnings, Alabama and points west from there through, what is today, Thursday? Wednesday. But it fortunately has not turned out to be that, but it was not looking good, especially for Alabama and possibly including us for Thursday morning. And again, we're still not out of the woods, but I mean, when you look at that and what we were all prepared for, kind of leaves you scratching your head on the rest of it here. Somebody asking, I see level 2. Yeah, if you're just joining us in, the new SPC Outlook came out. I have the map shifted here because for Wednesday we're looking at all the high risk. Let me move this over. But you can see we have been knocked down a good bit, which is good. This is all starting from where we are now. Well, if you look at the SPC Outlook, then all of this stuff in Alabama is irrelevant.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy because they were in a 3 and then they just got dropped down to nothing.
Yeah, so you have all this redevelopment in Montgomery and storms firing over there, but yet there's no risk. Actually,
Well,
when you...
what about oh, yeah. I was thinking, what about the day 1? But that is the day 1.
That's day 1, yeah. So, that, and this is just general showers and storms, and we have thunderstorms back here. Ain't that something? I'll take it.
Yeah, I'll take it.
So if we go by this guidance from the Storm Prediction Center, then hopefully this trend just continues then.
I mean, still though, this is definitely hours earlier than what models were saying yesterday, even for the stuff that's coming out ahead of the front.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And none of this was on the models.
That'd be good. The earlier it comes through, the better for us.
Yeah, if this comes on through, then y'all can go ahead and open schools. I'm not. Did they close? Oh yeah. What?
We have to sweep through that part.
I think, I can't remember because we're in the weather department. That's a news thing. But I know that there were some schools that they've gone to virtual,
Oh yeah, I've
some late delayed starts, stuff like that.
right.
Yeah.
I put Colby's bed in the bathroom, hoping that he would go in there if there was a tornado that came down my street, just like dog instinct.
Well, I'm sure dogs know to get in their safe spot.
He's in a hallway, so he's kind of already in a safe place. But I was like, maybe if I put his bed in the bathroom, he'll know to go in there. There's a tornado on.
Put his food in there. He'll figure it out.
Yeah. Periodically have treats just dispensed out in there.
You come home, he's sitting in the tub with a helmet on. Good job.
I knew you were my dog.
Yeah, so interesting that, actually we can turn that on then to match it up. Learned that trick from Courtney today. Yeah, if you put that with the new Outlook, I'll do it with this map. All those storms that are back in Alabama are not even shaded for just regular thunderstorms. Well, maybe this is day 1. Maybe we're still in day 0.
Right.
Yeah. We're in an alternate universe. Time doesn't exist where we are right now.
Yeah, we don't even know what day it is.
I don't. I know that. Let's see. It's a wedge.
Yeah, I thought it was Friday when I was pulling up here today. A little disappointed.
Actually, well, yeah, we are only a day away from Friday. That's good.
Thank goodness. Ready for the weekend.
Let's see. Mike, that's ingenious and probably also illegal, but I like where you're going. It says I keep a crowbar handy. Wait, let me get to the screen. It sounds bad when I leave it off right there. Keep a crowbar handy so I can pry up a manhole cover for my safe room for a tornado. Yeah, Andy and Barney will get you for that one. Guest models are allowed on Monday. Yeah. Joe, I think that's a good point. Better safe than sorry, better over-prepared than not at all. That's a good point. The other way of this is even worse. Is if, nothing's going to happen, and then all of a sudden you do get... Yes. If this pans out, this is kind of like when you order something from Amazon and you think it's coming Friday and then it shows up Wednesday and you're like, wow, that's like the greatest feeling in the world. Yeah, you get the little alert on your phone and you're like, oh man, I thought I had 2 more sleeps before I got that new mailbox I ordered. That show my age. That's what I'd be excited about.
No, it's okay. I'm at the point where I get excited about
Yeah, air fryer, yeah. I got new sandpaper for my wood shop. This is great.
So what I did was, kind of you can adjust the grid on the models, kind of like make it keep up with time.
Yeah.
So I just did that.
How many hours did you have to adjust it?
Ooh, like 3.
Mm.
So 3 in the morning, all that stuff back in Alabama starts to kind of knock on our door, so that's like the next hour. And then out by like 8. 8, 9.
Okay, so what Courtney is saying, because you're not mic'd up, are you?
No.
No. I don't know if you can hear her over there, but what we can do sometimes with the models is it's adjusting the grid on it. And so what it's doing is it's saying, okay, I kind of like what it's showing. I think it makes sense, but it's off by 3 hours. So you can adjust the timing on it. Yeah, so it's still, the idea is still there, but you've moved it more into a time frame that makes sense. And so she was doing that. And if that's the case, you were saying by the stuff in Alabama would be here by about 3 and the clearing by 8 out of our whole area?
Yeah.
Which one are you looking at, the high res?
Yeah.
I just don't.
I have
don't.
Not hard to match up.
That you could be right. I just think it's interesting to have.
Flipping, it's going.
Well, yeah, the Her model has just decided to. Oh wait. RPM's new.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah. Okay. So let's pretend. All right. So let's take a look. We're looking at this for the first time together. Then. So this is. So what we're going to leave out of this, because you look at it like, all right, let me try to find the sense and what makes sense in here. The storms that are out there right now are weakening. They're right here, but we know that there's redevelopment back here. So let's take this into account and forget this for right now. Let's just see if the general idea is there. So you go forward, there's 5 in the morning, broken, very broken. There's around 6, 7 in the morning to around 8 or 9. Kind of the same stuff we're seeing now, it looks like. Trying to get back together a little bit. Now you're getting the sun's coming up. And then there's around 10 to 11 o'clock eastern counties. And then by noon, still gone. It's still the same timing, but what it's almost like it really never, the timing never left us then. If that's the case, the stuff back in Alabama is still going to take that same amount of time to come through. It just, the knife went from being a machete to a butter knife, is basically what it, yeah. Okay, so that's all new. You're seeing this for the first time. Same time I'm seeing it. That kind of makes sense to me. That's the stuff that's back in Alabama now. Again, forgetting that we have the little line that's breaking apart now. Let's just focus on this that's been starting back up. That could just be rain, maybe a rumble of thunder, maybe some gusty winds. And still the timing is about the same. It could just be not that big a deal as it comes through. It doesn't really look all that squirrely. All right, so there's your new forecast right there then, that the timing still stays about the same. We're still looking at the bulk for everybody, still knocking on the door as far as the final round. 6:30, 7 o'clock, rolling through Macon, Warner Robins, 7, 8, 9. Probably clear of Macon, Warner Robins by 10, 10:30. And then gone pretty much by noon from the eastern counties, and then that would do it. That makes sense. And that lines up with what we're seeing here, with the exception of this stuff that's out here now, but it's falling apart. So everything I just showed you, all this is what it was just showing. So it would take still seems like that's running a little bit too late, but who knows, folks? The trend is there. The trend is good. That front edge has encountered something it didn't like and has started to fall apart. Let's see where we are with the where is the I guess technically we still have enough of pieces of the wedge in place that's what this is running into.
So when I noticed that lift yesterday, a little bit, it was cold, and then.
Oh, then it started getting warm. Yeah.
It's like, I don't need my jacket anymore.
Yeah, we started climbing pretty quickly yesterday. So Monroe County into Crawford County seeing rain now. This is kind of odd. I mean, for all this was looking to be on doing a long Facebook Live for rain from Forsyth to Roberta, and that's it. But again, stuff back here, still keeping an eye on that. And so far it looks like it's going to be rain, maybe some thunder as it comes through. And remember, as I talked about in this Facebook Live and the one before, watching stuff like this, you know, that's kind of a ball of energy that left southwestern or southern Alabama toward Mobile and kind of made its way on up. We'll just see how this looks. Let's see if those are tornado watch counties I just threw in there. Okay, I think what we'll do is, this one's been going for a while. We'll put an end to this Facebook Live since there's really no change. And see how things are going. And we will jump back on in just a little bit. And we'll look over some stuff. But for now, that's it. Again, if you want to hit the hay, go ahead, as long as you have a way to be warned, just in case we were to get a warning. It's looking less and less likely that's going to happen. But we'll check back in with you in just a little while. So if you want to hang around for that, that's cool. If you want to go to bed, that's cool too. We'll see you.